Everybody, welcome to a new episode of Merlin Approved. It's been a little while. We're here at the Dragon's Lair, and standing to my right is my good friend, Iron Brother Ron Stevens, who is a Masters Pro IFBB bodybuilder. And actually, in 2023, he actually qualified for the Masters Mr. Olympia, but had a little trouble on the way there, a little injury, which I'm going to want to talk to him about later, which derailed him from doing that show. And then he had a very, very interesting journey all the way through the end of 23 into 2024. Today I wanted to have him on the show because he's in absolutely ridiculous condition. He's like shredded to the bone. And did he have a show? No. He just got shredded to the bone for himself. In fact, during Olympia week, when all the Olympia competitors were here, he was as ripped as any one of them. I don't care who it was. He looked like he was in just as good a shape. So we're going to train some back today, do some interesting angles, do some of my fun techniques. Just really try to put him through it. Hopefully we'll get him to put his tank top on, show off the physique a little bit. And then we're gonna have a little quick conversation with him after the show, so stay to the end, and hope you enjoyed this episode. All right guys, so we're starting off this workout with a movement that I love for widening the lats. It's an incline lat pull down. So you're gonna see, we have the incline bench here, we're gonna sit back on it. And this movement is very interesting because it's almost like a hybrid between a pullover and a pull down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the stretch at the top for about 3 full seconds, really try to pull the lats out, feel that stretch, and then we're gonna engage the lats. I'm gonna pull down to about mid-chest, squeeze for about a second, go back up to the top, and again, hold for 3 seconds. This is a really, really good movement for widening the lats because the close grip keeps the elbows close to the body, and when you do that, you engage mostly the lats. Give this a shot if you're bored of regular close grip pull downs. Okay guys, as you can see, he's gonna hold the top for 3 seconds. And what he's trying to do is he's letting his shoulders release. He's not letting the shoulders tense up. He's letting them release so you can get a full stretch through the lat. Then he's pulling down with control. He's initiating the pull with the lat muscle right here. Getting a good squeeze at the bottom for a moment. And you can see that's a real full range of motion. A full range of motion is going to affect more muscle fibers than a shorter range of motion. We really want to exaggerate that stretch here. Pull the lats out. Yep. All right, so for the second movement, we're going to use this incline chest supported row. We're going to use a semi-wide grip. And what you're going to see is we're going to actually sit very, very low on the machine because what I want to do is I want to force the elbows out nice and high on the sides of the body so that we hit right along the entire upper back, some rear delt, some top to mid trap rhomboids. There's a really, really good movement for thickness and detail in the upper back done this way. And the technique that we're going to use, since on the first movement we emphasize the stretch position, now I want to emphasize the contracted position. So Ron's going to hold the top of the position in the contracted position, really, really squeezing tight for 3 full seconds on every single rep. Going to get a really tremendous burn and pump. Great movement for upper back thickness. Sitting really low on the machine. So his elbows are out wide and coming up high. This is going to get him right across the entire upper back. You see he's holding that squeeze for 3 seconds. Very, very intense technique to hold that squeeze. He's using all the musculature back here to hold the squeeze. He's not using his arms. Yep. This pulls a lot of muscle in the upper back, right across the traps, rear delts, rhomboids. Nice, Ron, come on. As you can see, his movements are very, very controlled, even when he's doing his negative. Nice. Yep. He's holding those 3 second holds at the top, right to the end. Excellent set right there. Okay, so next we're gonna go back to stretch emphasis. We're gonna hold the stretch for 3 seconds on every rep. And what we're doing here is a modified low cable row. Some people call this a Dante row. He made it famous. I was doing this movement back years ago as well in New York with some of my clients, so it's a really, really interesting movement. You'll see how we do it. So we're basically gonna brace our knees up against the end of the bench. We're gonna be standing crouched over, and we're gonna remain in that crouched over position, not quite at 90 degrees, maybe about 80 to 70 degrees or so, and we're gonna stay in that position throughout. We're gonna come out to full stretch. We're gonna hold up for 3 seconds, like I said, and we're gonna pull the rope into the lower portion of the abs to try to hit the lower insertion of the lats. So this is a really, really great movement because you feel the stretch at the top of the lats at the beginning, and then the movement works its way down the lats until you hit the insertion of the lats down at the bottom, and it's a great movement for overall development, width, and thickness. Knees up against the bench to stabilize the torso. Of course, he doesn't want to get pulled forward. Plus, we need this distance so he can get that full stretch with the rope. He's gonna hold the stretch for 3 seconds, and again, pull the lats out. Then he initiates the pull from the top of the lats, and as he pulls, he's squeezing down into the bottom of the lats right here, where they insert into the lower portion of the back near the waist. As you can see, his form is very, very controlled. He's muscling the weight in, he's not throwing it in. His torso remains in this position the entire set. Yep. Amazing stretch. Full range of motion movement. Great angle for the back. You'll hit a completely different set of muscle fibers than doing a standard cable row. Again, very good set. Okay guys, so the way I've been doing this workout is I've been switching off between emphasizing the actual lats and then going to more of a mid-back movement. So we're going back now to a mid-back movement. We're gonna do a high cable row. Our hands are gonna be facing with this grip, but it's still gonna be a wider grip, so our elbows are gonna come out wide from the body, which is gonna mainly affect the mid-back more so than the lats. Now in the first mid-back movement that we did, we were sitting really low on the machine because I wanted to emphasize the very, very top of the mid-back. This one we're gonna pull a little bit lower, like to the lower chest. So now it's gonna be a little bit lower, but still across the mid-back, but more like in the mid-trap area rather than in the rear delts and upper trap area. The technique we're gonna use, we're gonna go back to holding the contracted position for 3 full seconds. And what I really want Ron to do is not to just hold the weight in place. I say this all the time when we do contracted emphasis. We're not just holding the weight in place, we're actually actively squeezing the muscles that we're targeting. So I call that hyper-contracting. So he's gonna hold that squeeze really, really hard, hyper-contract. Again, this is a really, really great movement for filling in those muscles in the mid-back and getting more muscularity and thickness into the back. All right guys, as he comes back, he's gonna hold this for 3 seconds, and he's gonna really, really squeeze these mid-back muscles. Now he's gonna go a little bit lower along the mid to low traps. Of course, we're still hitting the rhomboids, the rear delts, but he's focusing his emphasis a little lower on the back, holding that squeeze. As you can see, he does not let his chest collapse. As he brings the bar back, his chest comes out, his rib cage, his lower back arches so that the rib cage is up high, and that's how you get the best contraction in the back muscles. So Ron's been doing this for years. He knows exactly how to target the back muscles. His back is absolutely amazing. Maybe he'll hit a back shot for us later. But he's getting that deep squeeze. He's pulling through the elbows, not with the biceps, holding that squeeze. You see every rep is identical to the last. Nice. Great. All right, this is gonna be the last movement that we're gonna do for our back workout. I wanted to finish with something that was unilateral. So you guys, if you've been watching the show way back since it was Bros Are Built years ago, I introduced a movement that people call the Merlin One Arm Row, which is normally done on an incline bench using a dumbbell. This machine actually mimics that movement perfectly, so I like to use it every now and again. We're gonna do this machine. A lot of people use 2 arms at a time. Like I said, we're gonna do unilateral, 1 arm at a time. You're gonna see the way Ron sets up his body on this machine. He uses his non-working arm to brace his body using the top handle over there. And what he's gonna do is gonna sit in the machine so that when his hand rides up close to his body, it's coming down close to the waist, because the area of his back that we're looking to really hit hard is the lower portion of the lats. He's very, very strong in the upper back, but he wants to get more of that thickness in the tie-in of the lower lats into the waist. So when you bring the hand down low like that, you get a really good powerful contraction of the bottom of the lat. We're not going to use any special techniques on this one. We've already done that for 4 movements. So we're just going to use good, clean form, full range of motion, muscling the weight, not throwing the weight. And this, again, a great movement for working the lats from top to bottom. As you can see, he braces his torso using his opposite hand. As you can see, his elbow is riding right down where the lower lat attaches. He's trying to focus on that area, but always full range of motion. You don't see him cheating at the bottom with a bent arm. He's going to full range, stretching out the lat, muscling the weight up, not throwing it. Perfect. He's not getting ready for anything. This is just life. And guys, he actually came off his diet a couple of days ago, so he's had some not clean meals. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering, Ron's 55 years old. So I know 25-year-olds who can't get peeled like this. No, its vascularity is insane. All right, it's got to show that back though. Yeah, his back's pretty insane. Yeah, amazing width. There it is, people. Got a most muscular shot. Did you get a most muscular shot? Just to blow it all out. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Nice. All right, let's have a little conversation. All right, guys, so we're done with the workout, and we're sitting here in the now famous lounge area here at the Dragon's Lair. And of course, I'm going to start this little conversation by asking Big Ron here, how was the workout?
Great. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the different angles, different techniques, different things that I normally do. So yeah, it was a good experience training with you today and trying out some new techniques that I don't normally do. So
good. Yeah, it's a little different. It just gives you a little bit more, time under tension, and
I got a real good pump.
Yeah, we got pumped right from that first exercise, with the overhead pull downs. Both of us.
Yeah. Right away.
But it's cool when you do, different angles that you normally do and stuff like that, because you kind of feel like different muscle fibers and different feeling in the back that you don't usually get. So it's kind of what I wanted to do with Ron today. It's some different angles, give him some new ideas, some things he could play around with. Because of course I'm going to make him do the Masters Olympia in 2025. But that's another story. So I just want to talk to you real quick because just want to get a little, let people know, like I had mentioned in the beginning, that you actually had qualified for the 2023 Masters Olympia. You were preparing for it, everything was going great. And what happened on the way to that show?
Well, I was about 13 weeks out from the Masters Olympia in Romania last year in 2013 or 2023. And I ruptured my distal tendon, quad tendon, right off the bone doing pendulum squats with the weight that was a little heavier than I probably should have been handling. But I think it was just a wear and tear thing. I think it's an age thing, to be honest with you. So it ruptured right off the bone. I saw my quad like roll up, and it was a devastating injury. My knee was like, within minutes, it looked like the size of a softball. And I had so much fluid and blood in there, they couldn't do an MRI for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I knew something was wrong. I knew there was no chance I was going to do the show. I knew it was something that was going to be bad. So I ended up having surgery, and they repaired it fully. But I was like in a cast for 4 months. Then I was in a brace, a mobilized brace for another few months. So last year's training basically was just out the window.
Right. That's what that's the, what I wanted to get to was that you actually had lost, even looking the way you just looked right now, people seeing you training and posing, you lost a ton of time training, seriously.
Yeah.
So actually, when did you, so after the injury happened, how long was it before you were even back in the gym doing anything?
Well, I tried to get back in the gym after a few weeks of feeling sorry for myself.
You were doing a little upper body.
I was doing a little bit of upper body. I couldn't lift any plates. I couldn't lift any dumbbells. So I couldn't do anything plate loaded. I couldn't do anything where I had to carry dumbbells. So
just machines?
Just machines. So what I did was I trained at a gym near my house that was close and convenient. And so I would go there primarily because they had a lot of machines, and also they had the UBE bike machine that you see a lot of physical therapists have. So I couldn't do any cardio, but I wanted to stay active. I wanted to, keep my head right, and I wanted to be mentally okay. So I used that little UBE machine, sort of like cardio, and then I would do like a circuit. I split the upper body into 2 days, and then I would go in the gym like maybe 3 days a week, like every other day. I did that for a while. And then I found out a few months later that I developed blood clots. Mm-hmm. And that was another setback because then I really couldn't train much at all. I was on blood thinners, which made me really feel terrible. And I had to get off my TRT. So I wasn't taking any type of hormone replacement for about 10 months.
Right.
So with a combination of the blood thinners and not training much and no TRT, I lost a lot of muscle, I lost a lot of size, strength, everything.
Yeah, well, you and I actually talked a lot during the whole process, because I remember when you were in here and you were like off the TRT and you're like feeling like crap and you were, not looking anything like your normal self,
No.
But you were in here and you were just doing the best that you could, which was good because, some people might just be like, well, I can't take TRT, I'm just not going to do anything. But you stayed in here and you kept going, and I kept on telling you this is probably going to be good for you in the long run because your joints and everything are going to get so much rest, your body's going to reset, everything's going to be fresh when you go back on your TRT. You'll probably feel a lot better, and then eventually, I guess it was earlier this year, you were able to you get back on your TRT, you were able to start kind of training normally again, hitting legs too, and then you just decided at some point, I think it was maybe March or something, that you said, I want to diet a little bit. I just want to diet and get into shape for the summer, right? Something like that?
It was basically May. Yeah, May I started. So I was getting ultrasounds done on my knee like every 6 weeks to see if the blood clots were going away and if the blood thinners were working. And the first time I took some Eliquis, I took Eliquis for a certain amount of months, and I was really getting no difference. Every 6 weeks I'd go in, they said, no, you still have the blood clots. I had 3 blood clots behind my knee. And so that was very frustrating because there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to let it ride out. You got to take the medication, and you just have to allow yourself to heal. And with bodybuilding, a lot of us, we feel like if we push ourselves with a diet or with the training or with the cardio, that we get results. Well, this was one case where I had to step back and allow my body just to heal, which takes a lot of patience, and I wasn't used to it. So when it came to around April, I got my ultrasound done on my knee. The doctor said, you're cleared. I went to a vein specialist, and he says, you're cleared, you're good, no restrictions. And so around April, May is when I decided to start the TRT again and then to diet for the summer. Because I've dieted every summer from I don't know how long. I've always done shows in the summers. So that's when I started my diet in the summer.
Yeah, and then you just, I watched you. I was telling you every week, I'm like, wow, you're getting leaner, again. And then at some point I said to you, I'm like, okay, dude, what's going on here? You're shredded. You're looking sick. I'm like, you know, because we would discuss, and you were actually like, I think I'm going to be retired now. I'm probably not going to compete anymore. I'm just going to, you know.
Yeah.
But then you got like into shape that was basically like show shape. Like I said, you were walking around the gym as hard as any Olympia competitor during Olympia week.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts. And you really, really pushed it into basically where you could have stepped on stage. I mean, I looked at you, you took your shirt off, and I was like, you could walk from the gym right on stage right now. You don't need anything. Just go right, walk on stage. Yeah. So has this at all changed your mind? Like, maybe I still have some shows left in me. Maybe I want to try to do the 2025 version of Masters Olympia. Is that in your mind at all?
Yeah. I think before I was like 90-10 retired and thinking, okay, this happened for a reason. This is God telling me that, you know, you've had a good run. I've done 62 shows. I've done 7 or 8 pro shows, qualified for the Masters Olympia. I think I have had a good run. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe this is God telling me that you need to slow down, you need to take a break and go in a different direction. And so when I started dieting, my original plan was to diet like 16 weeks, like a typical 16-week contest prep diet. And so I did that. I got to the 16-week mark and I'm like, this is easy. You know, this is like autopilot for me. Like I was eating like basically pre-contest diet. Like I'd have a couple cheats a week, like I talked to you about. I go have sushi, I go have a steak and potatoes, you know, at Outback or something one night a week. And other than that, pre-contest diet, 1 session of cardio a day. I ended up doing 2 sessions a day. I got to the 16-week mark and I said, you know, I can keep going. So I went to the 20-week mark. You know, this isn't so bad. Let me try 6 months. So I did 24 weeks. I just completed that last weekend. So I've been dieting 6 months basically. And yeah, it's kind of re-energized me. You know, I don't know if I'm going to retire or not. I still think I might have a little bit left in me.
I think you do. I think you do. I think today proves that you look pretty crazy because you know you're still not even. You didn't even have like an off season or anything. You just basically went into like almost like a prep mode, like out of nowhere. So you gained muscle back.
Yes.
While dieting. So who knows what you can do this off season? But yeah. Anyway, listen. I'm really glad that we got to train today. It was a pleasure training with you. I always love training with you. Hopefully we could do some more.
Sure.
You know, and hopefully I'd love to see you get back on stage. I think that you still have more left in the tank. Your skin still looks good. Still good elasticity. You know, your conditioning is crazy. So, you know, I'd love to see you on stage again next year.
But, thanks, man. Yeah.
So let's definitely have you back on the show again. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
And guys, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, got something out of it. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with other people, and that's it. We're out from the Dragon's Lair and Merlin Approved.